It's right, yeah. Too modern.
For every step we take with this band, we always fight for it.
Hi guys, and welcome to a very special show. I have two of my favourite artists, musicians with me today from one of my favourite bands, Erik Martensson and Magnus Henriksson from Eclipse. How you doing, guys?
Brilliant.
We're doing great.
Oh man, it's really amazing. I was just saying
All
before we came on, to have you two guys on is like, yeah. I mean, I do bang on it. I do go on about Eclipse a little bit too much, some would say, but you know, reactions and album reactions I'm going to do with the album, which I'm not actually doing at the moment. I've recorded all my reactions, by the way, for the new album.
Wow.
So one of my favourite bands. So thanks. I know it's busy for you guys as well, so it's really appreciate you coming on. Of course, there's a new album to talk about, which we will get on to very soon. But firstly, I want to talk about your current tour, your festival tour. And you in Spain or going to Spain next? Is this correct?
Yeah, we're going there tomorrow, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tomorrow, already tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, you've been in
to
Spain.
Madrid. I think it's... Yeah. What do you think?
You've been in Spain as well, haven't you? And then you're going again, is that right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of Spain this year. We have a Spanish tour as well. So we have several festivals. This is a festival, and we played Barcelona Rock Fest. We played Rock Imperium, you know, the big festivals in Spain, and this weekend, and yeah, there's a full tour in December.
Yeah. I mean, I've been looking at your list, your dates. You've got Belgium, you've got to go across Europe, you go to the US as well.
Yeah.
Right. How is Eclipse in the US? Are you catching on out there?
It's
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. We only played a few one-offs, small festivals, and it's so spread out. Our fans are so spread out, and so it's hard to say.
It's really difficult. It's really weird, isn't it? Because bands either from the US try to break the UK, it's quite difficult, and the other way around. I know you're not from the UK, obviously, but European bands trying to break the US must be, you know, it's like you said, it's such a scope, isn't it? But I would have thought, you know, if you do catch on out there, I mean, man, that's where great music came from, wasn't it? All them years back, and you guys definitely touch upon, you know, a little bit of the 80s, didn't you? So, you know, good luck to you if you catch on in the US, but it must be quite an audience.
The best rock music came from UK, so it's not America, it's UK.
There's some good bands at the moment as well. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, hard rock and heavy metal came from UK. Period.
Yeah, I suppose it's me. I was growing up in the 80s, see, so it was very LA glam scene at that time, and it was all the glam metal bands and all that I grew up listening to and loved American music. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Maiden, Zeppelin, and all those bands in it, you know, all UK bands. What's the set list like then? Go on, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, I said if I'm gonna make a top 10 list of best rock bands, probably it's not gonna be a single American band is gonna make top 10.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's the real classic stuff. You're right. I mean, I suppose it depends what bands you're into as well. I'm a bit one-minded when it comes to music. I've never really strayed from rock and metal much. Do you know what I mean? As well, I'm very one-minded, and I like a lot of different genres of rock and metal, but I've never strayed far from it whatsoever. You know, people say I'm single-minded, but it's just what you like, isn't it? I suppose.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what's your I know it depends what sort of sets you're playing, I suppose, at the festivals, but what are you doing with the set list? Are you mixing them up, older stuff? Because you've got a bit of a discography to choose from there, haven't you?
Magnus?
We try to. I mean, we have some staples in our set that we just have to play, but we're trying to squeeze in a few more oldies now because some people are getting pissed that they want to hear some classics. So it's so hard. It's really so hard. And at the same time, you're trying to build a set. You can't have 15 songs that sound the same. We can't just have the singles. We have to have some breathing in between. So it's always a struggle. But
Yeah,
we try to do a good mix.
You got to keep everyone happy. That's probably the worst thing. I mean, it's just, I mean, but you have,
Yeah.
I was thinking about like doing soon my, rate ranking your albums, the Eclipse albums, but there must be, it's going to be one of the hardest ones because you could literally choose any Eclipse album, I believe, from Bleed and Scream onwards and say it's your favorite album. It's like, it's really hard. And that's a great band. Your discography is just so strong from, I think, when you, in my opinion, started finding your feet on, or maybe Are You Ready to Rock as well? People love that album. But, the consistency of albums since, you could literally, anyone could say that's my favorite album and have a good argument for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was in the beginning. It was super. It was when you start a band, it's really hard to make a set list because you only have a few good songs and a lot of fillers. And after a while, I think Armageddonized, then it was kind of, now we have a lot of good songs, and then we have Monumentum, and was like, yeah, we had to add some new songs, but we had a solid set. And then it got worse and worse because then you have the luxury problem of having too many songs to play, and we got to play that one, and we got to play that one, and there's only so many songs you can put in a set, especially at festivals when you play like 45 minutes or an hour. It's really hard. That means even like really classic songs needs to be taken away from the set list because we want to play new songs as well, because all the songs that are classics from Eclipse, or they were new songs that people didn't want to hear in the beginning. So you always have to, you got to fight for the new album all the time. Which is, I think that's really important as well, because we always add a lot of new songs all the time. We just don't play one song and that's it, like most bands do. We try to add as many as we can without people getting pissed off.
And it must be like being in a band. Obviously, your new songs are the exciting ones to play, aren't they? I mean, you could play the old ones with your eyes closed. When you've got something new, I mean, I was in a band years ago, and the most exciting thing for us was to play the new songs. That's the exciting thing for the band. But that's the way to capture new fans as well, isn't it? With new songs as well. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, you're an evolving band, in my opinion. You've got sound of your own, and it sounds Eclipse, but you always add these elements on for each album. So
yeah, for every new album we release, we gain maybe lots of new fans. We have gained a lot of new fans for every new album. So it's, for a lot of people, it's the first time they ever see us.
Yeah.
And they want to hear the latest single. So we can't piss them off. You know what I mean?
I mean, I know we're talking in a different language now with the way the record business is and the way sales are and all that. But I was looking at some of your numbers earlier on. I mean, I think is it Viva Victoria, the video is like nearly 5 million views, like on YouTube. So, a lot of bands can get nowhere near that. So you guys must be well happy with the numbers that are looking at you. Although it doesn't accumulate to money, I know that these days, but I mean, just the popularity of the band is growing. It looks that way.
Yeah, sure. And like Viva La Victoria, I think it has like, is it 32 million streams on Spotify?
About 32, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's amazing. So it's unbelievable how much people listen to that song. It's it's between like 15,000 to 30,000 times a day. It's unbelievable. And of course, people want to hear that song. And the funny thing is, as Magnus mentioned earlier, we have a lot of the fans of the band are from the later records, because the later the record is, the more successful it has been. So when we play like the oldest from Bleed and Scream, like the diehard fans who love that, and they don't know the album. They know, but when we start playing songs from Paradigm and Wired and really the Megalomanium one, a lot of people are like getting super excited about those new songs, which is for me, it's unbelievable that the people are still finding the band, and the fans are still growing.
It is. Yeah.
We want to grow. I mean, that's the whole point.
We definitely, that is the way the momentum seems to be there. you know, with the band for sure. And it's amazing because I only found the band. I did find the band the third album in Are You Ready to Rock? You know, and that was like very early stages. I mean, but it's really cool to see you guys, you know, over time growing and the momentum going and that. And I've always said this, you sound like a band that is making one of their first records, like you can feel the excitement on the record, and you don't often get that after years of recording, do you? So you're one of the few bands you can feel the excitement in the recording, and you know, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
We put a lot of, there's so much work behind the records, and we always seen ourselves as like an underdogs, because we started out like no one wanted hard rock at all when we started this band, but melodic rock was, I probably said this in the interview we did previously, that it was so out of fashion. People were literally laughing at us for playing this kind of music. So we always had this, we had to prove ourselves that we are good, and this is good music, right? And we always had that, and we never had that. Even if Viva la Victoria is a big single for us, but we never had a Final Countdown or a, you know, Living on a Prayer. We never been this big band. So we always fighting for every step we take with this band. We always fight for it, and I think that's when we make new records, it's got to be better than the previous one, and it's challenging, but we always like push ourselves to the limit to make the best possible record every single time.
And that's you can feel it. You can feel it in the music. You know, you can really feel that as it comes across.
We couldn't afford to release the Elder album. That's
no.
I mean, then our career would plummet right away. Kiss could afford that.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what you do, you know, people will always, you know, it must be really hard to balance it, because you've got this, like I said, this Eclipse sound. If you stray too far away from it, fans will go mad. If you don't do something different, fans will go mad. It must be just like this balancing act constantly for you guys.
Oh, we always get shit, no matter what we do. I mean, we got tons of shit for the last single about, the same melodies as always. Oh, it's the same shit. They never evolve. So
and it sounds completely different. Yeah.
No, you're right.
It is a lot of some people say it's funny that some people say we sound, doesn't matter, every single record we ever release sounds exactly the same, and then they have the other camp who says that they change too much. It's like you can't even recognize the band anymore. And at the same time, I wonder what band they are listening to, these people. And it's funny, but when we make records, the only people we listen to is ourselves. We just make the songs that we love to hear. We like, if we get it, I mean, Magnus and I, we are super excited about The Spark. We love that song, and so we recorded it and we did that song, that's the only standard we have to follow. It's what we like, and we never take into account what others might like, because if you do that, then I think you're on deep water, and it's really easy to start guessing what other people want instead of what you want.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, I thought on the last album, Megalomanium, I thought that definitely took the Eclipse sound, but I think you gave us loads of different new elements on that album, especially more, I suppose, more modern elements, you would say. But even you'd say modern, but some of the I suppose the sound from it ain't modern now. Anything that's not 80s to me is modern. It's just like, do you know what I mean? But it had a definite different sound to it, a definite different sound to the last album for sure.
Yeah. I think that the Black Album with Metallica is like a modern metal record.
It's right, yeah. Too modern. We've been touching upon the album a little bit. Obviously, Megalomanium 2. Firstly, what a surprise! It's come out of nowhere. I mean, man, you only bought the album out last year, and already there's a follow-up releasing September the 20th. Was that always the plan to go that quick with Megalomanium 2?
Magnus?
It was supposed to be released earlier, right?
Earlier?
It was supposed to be even earlier, yeah.
Yeah,
the whole story. Yeah, the story is that I was drinking beer with friends in my house, and I was putting on, I was going, and the rules were you only play vinyl or CD, no streaming. And I went down to the CD collection, and I pulled out Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy and Infinite Sadness, and I started thinking, no one do double records anymore. That's like they did in the 90s and in the 70s, but no one do it anymore because it's completely against the game of streaming. And so I think I sent a text to the guys, said that we should do a double record. But then we didn't talk much more about it. And then we had written all these songs we had. So we had, I guess we have all like 30 songs written. And so like, this is the moment we can do actually do a double record and a double album. And it was Magnus, we were in the studio at the same time. We were making coffee in the house, and it was like, why don't we do a double album, but we release it as a double, like separate them, the releases. It's one record at a time, and just do one, and then just start shortly thereafter, just continue with singles, and then announce number 2. And that's all the title is, the Megalomanium or Megalomania, is that it's complete delusion of grandeur to make a double record these days. And so this was the plan, which everyone thought was really fun to do. And so we had all these songs written. So all this number 1 and number 2 were already written. And Magnus and Victor and I were sitting in a bar in Sydney during an Australian tour. We had a beer and we just sat there, divided the songs in 2 separate albums. Like, okay, let's make like 4 possible singles and 4 possible singles, and then we just made a good record around them with the songs we had. That's how we came up with number 1 and number 2, and yeah.
Well, I mean, anyone that sort of dispels the theory that fans might have about it being the leftovers, because one, you've just proven it's not. You divided the singles up and made it a proper album. But listening to it, and just to excite the fans a little bit more, because I've listened to it obviously and done the reactions. It's an amazing album. It's definitely not a leftover album. If anything, I prefer it than Megalomanium, the first one.
Same here.
It's absolutely brilliant. And I've got what do you want to say? I mean, I know you had all these songs together, but in your opinion, what do you think these fans can expect on this album?
Magnus?
I would say number 2 is a bit more diverse, and I would say edgier, heavier than was the first one. That was kind of had a lot of poppy elements, I think. Here by our side, I hear drums. This one is definitely heavier. What do you say, Erik?
Yeah, it turned out heavier, and I love number 1. I think there are so many good songs on that record, but as an album as a whole, I think I prefer this one. But they're all written during the same period of time, which means they are, in essence, they are the same album. So usually when you do 2, Paradigm, when we wrote that one, and when we wrote Wired, for example, it's 2 very completely different sessions, and we are very different as people, even as a band, as we changed members during those albums. But this is the same period, so it's really like the same cake divided in 2 pieces.
Together, well, separately they're brilliant. Together they're a real brilliant listener masterpiece.
Absolutely, so people can do their own best of record.
They can. Imagine doing a best of for you guys. It would be ridiculous. It'd probably be about 5 albums long. I want to talk about the tracks, if that's all right, and you can take turns if you like, guys. But just to get people a bit more excited. So we've obviously heard the 3 singles. They're excellent. Let's get... Just one spark and light up the fire. We'll talk about what's to come. So we've got just a short thing on each one. So track 4, All I Want Is You. And now, to me, it's one of the tracks that has a real... It's funny you said about the 2 albums being recorded at once or being written at once, because that has a real Megalomanium 1 feel to me, like that sort of more modern edge to it. A really fun song. So one of you guys want to tell us a bit about All I Want Is You?
Yeah, I wrote that one. I had a period when I had a week I was sitting down writing songs, not for Eclipse or anyone else. I just wanted to do something without thinking where it would end up. I just sat down and write songs. I like never do that because it's always like I need to write songs for this or this. So I had this week of writing, and I think at least 2 or 3 of these songs ended up on these albums, and that's why they sound a bit different. They have this more like almost like skate punkish vibe to it. I don't know if All I Want is that, but it's up tempo and it's like more fun songs.
Yeah,
It's not classic heavy metal thinking or hard rock thinking. It's just fun songs. So those they were like the jokers in the of the bunch, and some of them ended up being really good. I really like that song. It sounds like Eclipse, of course, because we are Eclipse playing it, and but still it's a bit different, which I like.
It's a brilliant song. Of course, the singles like all front loaded at the start of the album, like 1, 2, and 3, which is cool. I love every single one of them songs. Just a touch one. That's why I went to track 4 first. But then we move on to, man, what a song this is. Still My Hero. Filled with emotion, feels really personal. Is that about anyone in particular, that song?
It's about my dad.
Oh,
it's about my dad. Well, I had one song about that earlier, The Storm, but I wrote this song and I had the chorus. I already had the chorus that from the scrap lyrics, and I wanted it sounded right, and I was thinking, who's my hero? Well, it's probably my dad, I guess. So I wrote the song about him as I had the title, and I made it around him, and it's about the motocross career and the music career and everything, where he always helped out and always, he was a great dad.
I mean, I lost my dad in 2016, and it really made me. It's strange that you said it's about your dad, because I was listening to that song. I chose an Alter Bridge song, and it was a similar sort of song about losing someone, and that sort of, I thought as I was listening to that song, I was thinking lyrically, if my dad was still here now and he passed, that's the perfect song to remembering by as well. So amazing that you would just say that, Erik. That's pretty cool. The next one is Dive Into You. And now this is a cool song. I've got to make Mark Clower, who comes on the channel with me quite a bit, and we talk shit together about music. And he always says songs like this are like a ballad with teeth. Like they've got a harder edge to them, but they're still a ballad. That's how this one feels to me. No band for me like hits the feels like you guys when you do ballads. I remember I saw you in London a few years back. This is the one where the fire alarm went off. Remember that, guys, in London? I was there. And you made it, Erik. He was saying how important at that gig, how important ballads are, and it's like the best thing about rock bands are the ballads. And you did like 2 or 3 that night, and I was like blown away. Please tell me that never changed. Like you always do ballads, like this.
Yeah, ballads are hard to write. I think that's why sometimes I always said I'm a shitty ballad writer, and but there's been quite a few good ballads from Eclipse now, and I think it's because I think I'm so bad at doing ballads. I try extra hard, because when you have rock songs, you can just, with a cool riff and just the high pace, you can go a long way just by the energy. With ballads, you don't have that. It's got to be driven by that's why ballads on records from many bands are the most boring songs, because they are if they don't have like the real meat and potatoes, there's nothing for it. Then it's bland, and I really try to avoid that anyway. So this one has almost like a country feel to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a brilliant song. I mean, I'm a ballad fan. I can't wait to hear an Eclipse ballad. And you almost didn't have that on the last album, and I was like, or was it the album? I think it's the last album. There wasn't quite a ballad on there. I was like, no, I want that ballad. I want that ballad. I'm terrible. I am.
Yeah, we must have forgot about the ballad when we did that when we were in Sydney drinking beer. We didn't think about ballads then.
Perhaps Magnus, you can talk about this one. I love this next song as well. Until the War Is Over. Now, this is classic Eclipse for me, with a slight Western feel in some of the melodies as well.
Yeah, that was actually my favorite song of this album. And we were talking about making it a single for a long time. But I don't know why. But maybe it's too long. And but it reminds me a lot of the country Chris Staples song. But I don't know, that was not in the intention. But it's just got such a cool vibe of that song. This country western or movie vibe, something.
Well, I think that Western feel for me is that has been in the Eclipse sound for a little while now, isn't it? That sort of, you sometimes touch upon that, which I love as well. That's a staple.
Yeah, we had some. Yeah. And it's got that guitar melody, that twanging guitar melody, along with the whistling. I guess it reminds you of Ennio Morricone or something like that. So maybe that's why you get the Western vibe. And I think that's such a cool spice to add to a song. These twanging guitars, which we've been doing now since Paradigm.
Yeah, definitely.
Some people hate it.
I just maybe, as you said, that was one of the four, when we separated the albums in singles. That was one of the songs that were the definite single for record number 2, and it didn't. And when it was completed, it was not a single anymore. Other songs have become stronger and like it's more better suited for being singles, I would say.
Yeah.
Not that it's not that it didn't turn out great. It's just we had other songs that turned out more catchy, I guess.
Yeah.
Track 8. This kicks fucking ass, this one. Divide and Conquer. So fast, chuggy, heavy, and for me, if we're going to look at past albums from Eclipse, I think this could have probably easily fitted on something like Bleed and Scream or something like that for me.
Sure. I can tell you the reason I came up with the riff. Hang on.
He's going to get his guitar.
I bought this pig pink guitar.
Wow. Nice.
And I had one of these when I was a kid, and I sold it. I traded it in for another guitar, and then I found one on Facebook Marketplace, and I bought it for like 120 pounds, something like that. And I plugged it in and just look at it. It's very, very 80s, and I made it riff instantly. This is the reason for that song, right?
Well, that is a kick-ass song. That.
Great guitar, but you're not allowed to bring that on tour. It's just.
Okay. I gotta bring another thing that always is on like every record, the bass that can't be bought on tour.
Do you know what he's getting at now, Vegas? You know what this one is, I suppose.
So we always have this very meaty bass sound. Well, the latest records are Victor's bass, but every other Bleed and Scream, I think.
Oh, look at that!
It's awful. It's the worst looking. It's the worst looking bass I've ever seen. It's something that's like late 80s.
Yeah.
It looks like shit, but it sounds amazing. So this is a studio bass. Can never ever go on tour.
You should make him play that. You should make him play that one. Brilliant. Super.
I would have thought that Victor would look good in it though.
Yeah, Victor would love playing it. Make him play it. How are the guys anyway? As we talk about Victor, how's Victor and Philip? They all right? Good.
Sure.
Good. It's like having two brothers. Do they like that all the time at each other, arguing?
No. On the contrary, no. They are super sweet to each other. They, I mean, they can yell for 2 seconds, and then they are best friends again. And so no, they have a really
such a cool
dynamic.
I mean, man, those guys are such an important. The rhythm section in your band is like, I know you're an AC/DC fan, Erik. So I mean, the rhythm section in a band is like, you know, so important. And man,
Absolutely.
the Eclipse rhythm section is spot on, you know, so tight.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Those guys
Yeah.
are brilliant.
Yeah, I
They
think
are-
the
they're-
band really,
Yeah.
the band really came together when Victor was added. Then it was complete. I mean, now we're a real band for the first time.
Excellent.
Equal
And that's been
members,
since
everyone.
that was after Paradigm, wasn't it? Victor joined. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to move on to track 9, which is excellent. Again, the album's excellent. So it's Pieces. Again, that sort of cool for me, that sort of modern sort of touch you had on the first Megalomanium record for me. I think this track, it really does embody for me that, like, the Eclipse sound, which is anthemic and really fresh as well. That's the cool thing about Eclipse, is that, you know, there's loads of bands out there, isn't there, that are emulating this 80s sound and almost trying to hone it in like they are an 80s band. But Eclipse have never done that, have they? They've got that, the anthemic part of it is, but you're so fresh still, and that's how this feels, this song, Pieces, to me.
Yeah, we've never wanted to. When we did Are You Ready to Rock, we just needed to do one of those 80s hard rock records, because we tried so hard to be something we were not on the first two Shidder records. And then we did Are You Ready to Rock, which was the first time people really was excited about something we ever done to. And but for Bleed and Scream, we really wanted to move away from sounding like anyone else. We wanted to find our own sound, which I think we did.
When you bleed and you feel that your world's crashing down.
Quite well with that one, and I think Armageddon is when we kind of really started to nail our own vibe. And yeah, as you said, I like to add all the elements, you know, from fresh elements from this day and age, and mix it with, you know, all the stuff we love from the past. And Pieces is probably a good. It was not your favorite song, Magnus. It's your, I think it was me and Victor and me who kind of fought. Well, I think all of us liked it except you. This one, Pieces.
Yeah.
What don't you like about
it's growing on me. I like it now.
You like it now? Good.
Yeah.
And it adds something fresh, you know, if you go from, you know, Divide and Conquer, which is like 80s, you know, pink guitar riff song, and then the contrast to have this Pieces, which is quite a modern sounding song, which the funny thing with Eclipse is that they both fit on the same record. Yeah.
It's funny you should say, like, you know, you've never really wanted to emulate that sort of 80s sound and copy it, which a lot of bands do, but there are a lot of bands that are trying to sound like you guys now in that sort of scene. Do you know what I mean? There's slight different elements, but they can't quite capture the Eclipse sound. But there's some bands out there that are, you know, trying to.
Yeah,
that must feel great. That must feel great.
That's amazing.
We've heard some renditions of our songs with different titles, so we can spot it when we hear it. Sometimes we even heard people stealing it, but that's super cool. We're flattered.
Yeah.
Even
there's only so many riffs. There's only so many riffs, isn't there? You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Right, track 10, which is the penultimate track before we get to the last one. So To Say Goodbye, this one. Another track for me that really tugs at the heartstrings, like you guys can really do, an arena filling track, man. So how hard is it, just in general, after all these years, to still come up with songs? The songwriting process, how hard is it to come out with songs like this, you know, and to keep that momentum going?
Well, this song was actually written with the same week as I did All I Want. This is one of those don't write for anyone else. This is one of the just write for myself songs. Not for myself, but just write something without a target. And yeah, as I said, there's several songs that came out very well from that week.
That is an excellent song. But I've got to say, my favourite song, you saved it till last, on the album, track 11.
Awesome.
So one in a million. That riff, man. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I think on the last album, the riff that really got me was Children of the Night. Really like hit me hard. I think this album, this is the one, probably my favourite track on the album. It's almost like, I don't want to compare it to other tracks of yours, but it feels like the Black Rain of this time, which is really exciting for me because that's one of my favourite Eclipse songs, Black Rain. But heavy, melodic, epic. Nearly 6 minutes long, so it's got more of an epic feel as well. But man, what a song to finish the album.
Yeah. I think I had the song. I wrote the song with the riff, and they had the verses and the chorus and everything. And I think it was Magnus and I, we talked about we wanted to have a longer song. We need all the songs were 3 minutes long. So why don't we just, we talked about just adding. So I just added a shitload of riffs. I just spontaneously came up with all the riffs in the middle sections, just stupid riffs, and I just added on top of each other. And I sent it to the guys and is this stupid? And I thought everyone would go say, you destroyed the song, but everyone seemed to like it. Even my wife liked it, which was very strange because it's like Metallica riffs and stuff. But
it's such a brilliant I think if you're gonna get, I was thinking if you had, like we spoke about, best of Eclipse album, that'd be on it for me. It's just one amazing song there. And you've always got to end an album strong in you to make you want to play it again or get the next album. That's definitely what you did there. Bit of guitar heroics on that one as well, Magnus, for you.
What was that? Sorry.
Few guitar heroics on there for you as well. You know how I feel about your guitar work, so.
I had a lot of fun doing solos. I can't even remember what I was doing, but just trying to make it sound interesting every time. Just every time you record a solo, it's like, oh, what the hell am I gonna do here? I don't have a clue. And then I just come up with stuff until Erik tells me, oh, that sounds cool, record that. Okay, yeah, sure.
I think with Eclipse solos though, I mean, man, there's so many bands that just sound like it almost sounds like a jam now. People are just fiddling around, just trying to get the solo out of the way. I think I've never felt that with Eclipse. It always feels like you're writing firstly to fit with the song, but it's really interesting to listen to and memorable. That's the main thing for me for solos.
Yeah, it's got to add something new to the song, and a new melody or like a new part of the song, and I love shredding and love playing fast, but I use that as just a little spice on the top.
Yeah.
I don't use it as a, what do you say? It's just one of the components of a solo.
Yeah.
It's the shredding and fast.
Same as Ingwe. He thinks exactly the same.
But I love listening to Ingwe shred, or full shred. I love that. I wouldn't do it. Yeah, but I love it.
He just adds the speed as a flavor.
Yeah,
he has a lot of that flavor, though.
He's the only one that gets away with it.
It's all about the songwriting. It's all about the songwriting, of course.
Yeah, but I must say, when I recorded it, when we did the solos for this record, I never think we nailed the solos quicker than this record, because it was like really inspiring, the whole situation. It's everything was super fast. Sometimes it can be hard to come up with something that really adds to the song, because it's like coming up with a song inside the song. Because it's got to be important. Yeah. That's why all the songs are 3 minutes long, because we always take away, if it's something that's even the slightest boring, we just take it away. There's everything gone. That's why all the songs end up being short. And same, so we work hard with the solos to get them interesting, to have at least, it's got to be a signature every time the solo. It's got to add like some signature to the song.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I would like to add that it's easier to do a good solo if the song is good, because then you kind of take off where the melody left. So it comes naturally solo if it's a great song.
It does. I must admit, when listening to an Eclipse album, like you said, these 3 or 4 minute songs, the albums just fly by. Perhaps you should get into filmmaking next, and because everything's 3 hours long now, a film, and I want it to get back to an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly. But I must say, these records, that we did the whole thing at the same time, making a double record it's really more the job than making 2 records. It feels like you're making 4 records at the same time, because there's so many songs going on at the same time, and you got to write good lyrics for the whole thing. You got to make good solos and sing well, and it's a lot of work, and it's so much easier to focus on 11 songs than focusing on 26 songs, which we kind of recorded this time, which is it is a huge undertaking, and I kind of see why people don't do double albums. There's a reason for that.
I think it's a brilliant idea to separate them, because people automatically have digs at bands for bringing long, even if it's one long album out. If it's an hour long, people say it's too long, don't they? It's just people automatically say it no matter what. It depends what's on the album. For me, some albums feel too long because of the way they're written, but you can get an hour-long album that's brilliant because of the way it's written. You know, it's such a balance. I mean, to tell you the truth, when you brought those first 3 singles out until the last one, I didn't think you was going to bring an album out, because there's a lot of bands now that do spring singles out, aren't there, as well? You know, it's the way of the world now with bands, I suppose. You can do that.
Yeah. So, which is kind of fun. It's kind of fun that you can do that. So if we want to release something, just some stupid thing, we can just do it without thinking about distribution and making physical products. We can just release a song and get on with it.
There are some good things about making music these days, aren't there? Some.
Maybe it's too easy.
Yeah. So September the 20th, guys. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? It's coming out. Amazing.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm making all the people jealous listening to this now that I've heard it, and it's brilliant. So when you guys, obviously you're busy at the moment, so just a bit of fun for you. So what do you guys actually do? Are you always working, you guys, or do you actually have a day off?
Well, Erik doesn't. Well, rarely. Yeah, you don't like having days off, Erik.
Well, I don't like having days off.
No.
Yeah, you like to work. You can't. You told me you had a hard time. You have a hard time relaxing.
Yeah, I work. I complain that I work too much, and I probably do, but there's not many hours many days of the year I sit down and have nothing to do. That's very rare. So it's always something going on. It's like having three jobs at the same time. Like the live musician, and then they have the producer, and then I have the mixing career, and then I have 2 kids in a house and building greenhouses, and it's like.
So you do get time to do stuff with the family, which is good. But what are you producing at the moment? You said you're doing something with an album at the moment.
I'm mixing at the moment. I'm mixing 2 new bands from Sweden, and I'm gonna mix a band. It's like a sleaze band called Confess. I think that's the new singer in Crash Diet. That's his band. So I'm gonna do a single for them, and well, I think there's some crazy lick stuff coming up. I don't know. There's stuff happening.
Oh, good.
All sorts of things.
I mean, I love the the mix you've done on the stuff you've done with Remedy. Man, what a brilliant sounding album that is.
Thank you.
That's
amazing. It turned out really good. We knew the guys from we know them from before. Rolly, the guitar player, and the singer as well. They're the session guys. They have like cover bands. They play corporate gigs and do all these session gigs. Yeah. And all of a sudden they started their own band, and it turned out really well. Yeah,
they've almost got this. They've got this sound of their own, which almost has this sort of like horror vibe going through it for me. It's like a atmospheric horror sort of vibe, which is very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, very cool band. But you, Magnus, then you have more days off than Erik?
No, I wouldn't consider myself that busy. I'm doing some fun stuff on the side, doing some cover jams and cover gigs with friends, just to keep my fingers going. And we had a gig with Knights of the Realm last weekend in Finland. So that was cool. That was fun.
A chance to do your shredding. Yeah.
Sorry, what did
A
you
chance
say?
to do all your shredding for nights.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I just like to keep in shape so I can play guitar.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. Just one more before we go. I just want to ask about one thing, which I was expecting this year, to tell you the truth. I was expecting a W.E.T album.
Yeah, there is a W.E.T album.
Huh?
It was completed, or it was completed already in March this year.
All right. Okay.
Everything is done with it. Everything is recorded, and it's coming out in, I think, late February.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Because the original plan was to release the second part in Megalomanium already this spring.
Yes.
So the W.E.T album was supposed to be out late this year, but because we postponed until September because of logistical reasons and bookings and tours and stuff, because there's so many things that need to happen at the same time when you release a record. And so they was postponed until February next year.
I know you've done the odd gig with Jeff, but is that a live thing anymore, or is it not?
Well, it's hard. Jeff lives on the other side of the world, and it's really hard to get the economy right to do one-offs. And Jeff's really busy with his own things, and we are very busy with Eclipse. So it's at the moment there is like no one is working to make the live things happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it will never happen, but it's at the moment there is like we have more than enough to chew on with Eclipse.
And Magnus, you've been a brilliant addition to W.E.T as well.
Yeah, I don't do much for W.E.T, but I bring some solos.
That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, and Erik's been producing the W.E.T album at the same time as doing the Eclipse album. So I don't know how the hell you do that.
I wrote both albums at the same time, and it was just I did Nordic Union. Then we did all these 30 songs for Eclipse and the W.E.T record, everything almost at the same time. It was, the last years has been pretty busy, to say the least, and mixing all these records at the same time, and house and the kids. And it's been, not many days off.
Well, some exciting times ahead, mate. Can't wait for you to release. Obviously, I've heard the album, but can't wait for everyone to hear the Eclipse album. We'll probably get a couple of W.E.T singles before the end of the year, or one maybe, hopefully.
I don't know. Let's see.
Right, okay.
Let's see. Well, it's been more focused on getting this thing flying first, the Eclipse one, and
When's the next single? Is there another single going to be released off the Eclipse album before the September?
Yes.
Yes.
It will be one.
It is.
Yeah, good.
I don't know when. Can't remember.
That's all right. So the fans get to hear a little bit more of the album, which is amazing. And guys, congratulations on the album. It's just as brilliant as you always are. One more question. When are you coming here? When are you coming to England again? I know it's awkward now. This country is just ridiculous, hard work to get to for everyone. I know it's because of whatever Brexit and stuff, but I can't wait for you to come over. And well, there's a pub over the road from me if you want to do an acoustic set.
That would be great.
Yeah,
if there's one,
as I told you, Lee, bring us to Cornwall. I would love to go there. Seems like a beautiful place.
Mate, there's plenty of places I can find you to stay around here, close to me.
Magnus, that's a great idea. We should do the acoustic thing in UK. We just rent a car and go around and play acoustic. That's the perfect idea, and it's the best beer in the world.
Yeah, mate, you love it here.
UK's got the best pubs in the world, period.
Yes. Oh, that's an idea.
Can you promise online up to now to me? You're gonna come to Cornwall. I can find you somewhere to stay cheap. All right. You two can come over and do an acoustic set around Plymouth. There's a city near us called Plymouth. I'd love it, honestly.
Yeah. We can do a reaction video with you.
Brilliant. Guys, anything to say to?
Yeah, we are coming to England though in Stone Dead Festival at the end of August.
Didn't
Stone
even,
Dead.
I know Stone Dead Festival. I've just been to a festival this weekend, but I probably would have changed it if I knew. I didn't even see you doing Stone Dead Festival.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You'll love that.
We're
You'll
doing-
love Stone Dead Festival. There's some great bands there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Gonna be
Never
awesome.
played them.
Yeah. More festivals as well, guys. Yeah, come to. There's one called Made of Stone, which I just went to last weekend in Kent. We just fit right in there, guy. Everyone would love you there as well. So make sure you make that one. Made of Stone, they'd love you there.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
so-
We will make a UK tour happen in the future. It's been in the works many times, but it's always failed to make it into the gig calendar.
yeah.
Logistical reasons and financial reasons and all these reasons that, well, we're really working hard on making it happen for sure.
Well, you promised me now, so that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta do it.
Just come
But
on
that
holiday.
acoustic tour, that was a great idea.
Yeah.
We have one acoustic gig, then we have a day off so we can like sleep, so we can go to the
We gotta
pubs late. And
Drink beer in between, so we gotta make
Yeah.
time for that. Right.
Guys,
that's right.
you'd love the
But
beaches here. I'll be a guide for a week. All right, I'll take you everywhere. It'll be all right. Good.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Guys, anything to say to everyone about the album? Just about the album before you go.
play it loud.
Yeah,
Yeah, you said it.
it's the only way. It's the only way.
And it's made to play loud as well. The mix is the best one so far. Erik really nailed the mixing on this album. You can play it as loud as possible. It sounds great.
Yeah, that is, that's quite difficult to do, isn't it? To turn something right up and sound just as powerful.
Yeah.
You look at a lot of that, but yeah, I mean, I haven't even really gone into detail about your production, your mixing and that, Erik, but amazing stuff you're doing across, well, the rock world, really, with your mixing. Brilliant stuff.
Thank you very much. I'll do my best.
I know it's really important to you. It's probably one of the most important things to you, and you do a brilliant job on everything you put your hand to. So
Yeah, I always try to give every band the best possible mix ever when they come to me, of course. And it's really hard to get something to sound great to fantastic. It's small things that make that difference, and sometimes it's really hard to know why. It's some albums just sound great. It's something with arrangements and of course the recordings and the mixing, but there's something. Sometimes it's really hard to know why doesn't this song sound as good? Everything is exactly the same, but some songs just sound better.
I find it when I hear a production though, like on an Eclipse album or a Wet album, or even like we're saying about the Remedy album, it's quite frustrating when you hear bands that are, real famous bands that can't get a mix right, and you think, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. Perhaps it's just what they want, but
yeah.
I mean,
there is an easy solution. Just give the job to me, and I'll mix it.
well, imagine what the last Journey album would have sounded like if you got your hands on it. Do you know what I mean? Just
yeah.
I don't know. It's a strange one. It's really weird.
I agree with you. Sometimes it's just I can't understand what they're thinking.
Just bad taste.
Yeah, bad taste. Yeah. All right.
Guys, it's been such a pleasure you coming on. And I'm gonna, if you don't come down here, I will be hassling you to come and visit me. All right, within the next year.
That would be great.
I'll be holding you to
Try to make it happen.
And if you do come down here and tour anywhere, that I can get to, I'll be coming, and I'll see you there anyway.
Sure.
Thanks,
And
guys.
if we're close to you, we do a reaction video with you.
Oh man, that'd be great. Perhaps we can save like a song that we haven't heard, and we do a reaction video together. How's that?
Yeah. Take something we can really trash talk.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, we'll let it loose. Cheers.
Have you heard the snare of this sound? The snare sound is awful.
Yeah.
We're having a dig at production. Yeah, we're having a dig at the production. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it. It's been such an honor.
Really, a pleasure.
Cheers.
Pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Yes, man.
Just one smile.